hello from Paris. I thought I'd come to a place with some iconic views. As you can see, I'm at the spot where the Jardin des Tuileries meets the Palais du Louvre. And this is where a lot of the action takes place in Roscoe McBride Book 1, Veil of Secrets. So the book opens actually over this way, over by the river. You can't see Notre Dame from here. You could if we went out those gates, but unfortunately they're fenced off. And near Notre Dame there is an island called the Ile de Saint-Louis, and it opens there with a very pretentious literary author coming to a sticky end. He's clearly not a very nice person, so I don't expect you to have a huge amount of sympathy with him. But in the opening chapter he will die. And then here in the Louvre, a security guard, a young security guard who likes to get here really early so she has the place to herself, finds a piece of evidence, and she finds it near the coronation of Napoleon, which is this massive painting not that far away from where they keep the Mona Lisa. And this piece of paper is linked to the killing, or killings as they will come. Look at that. Is the Eiffel Tower there somewhere? I could see it somewhere a moment ago. And as the book progresses, more pieces of evidence are found in there in the Louvre, including something on a painting, The Wedding Feast at Cana, Cana, I think it's pronounced Cana, which is in the same room as the Mona Lisa, and which nobody looks at because it's at the opposite end from the Mona Lisa. So when I went into that room and took a selfie in front of that picture and not the Mona Lisa, it was very easy, but it's really hard to take a selfie in front of the Mona Lisa because it seems the whole world wants to do it. So nobody would spot somebody leaving something suspicious behind at the wrong end of that room. So that's where one of the clues is. There's another one on a piece called the Turkish Bath, which is over in that wing of the Louvre. So the Mona Lisa is over here. It's vast, this building. And that's the Denon wing. And then there's the Sully wing and the Richelieu wing. I think it's that way around. But anyway, the Turkish Bath is in one of the other two wings. And then things start to move. So I'm going to turn around again, and we can't really see it very well over all the hedges, but can you see poking up above those hedges there are the top of a building? That is the Musée d'Orsay, which was originally a station, and it's a really interesting building to go in because the ground floor is like platforms, and there's a lower bit which is where the tracks would have been, and you go downstairs to get to it, and there's artworks in all these levels. But that famously has Van Gogh's work, and if you're a Doctor Who fan, walking into that room feels like you've been transported to the episode of Doctor Who where they meet Van Gogh and they take him into that room. But anyway, I digress. There is another painting there called Au lit, in bed, which is linked to one of the themes of one of the crimes, and again a clue is found there. So by this point our killer is moving away from the Louvre and over to the Musée d'Orsay. So that events start to move around Paris. We start to see things happen way out towards La Défense. We see things in the suburbs. Petra and Susanna have a jolly old time chasing around Paris. They eventually end up at Galerie Lafayette, which is, I guess, the equivalent of Harrods, or maybe Selfridges. Don't know which, but anyway, massive great department store with a glass ceiling that is a work of art in itself, and which was actually recommended to me as a location by one of the booksellers at Redditch Waterstone, so thank you to her for that. So yeah, they will end up there. There will be a big climactic scene. Will they solve the case? This is Petra McBride. What do you think the answer is? But to find out for sure, you'll have to read Veil of Secrets.